Welcome to another class of structural analysis. This is Ahmed Abdul Ahad from Civil Engineering Department, ISL Engineering College. So in the previous class, we were studying about the assumptions and steps related to cantilever method, and even we have taken one typical problem related to cantilever method of analysis. So in the previous method, we have taken this problem wherein we have calculated axial forces in columns, and after the application of axial forces we got the value of V, that is 58.64 kilonewton, and with the help of that value, that is 58 V, we have calculated V1, V2, V3 and V4. And moreover, this is very important thing, that the force, that is V1, which is going in downward direction, and V2, which is also going in downward direction, the sum of V1 and V2 should be equal to the forces which are going in upward direction, that is V3 and V4. So this step is very important. If you add V1, V2, that should be equal to V3 plus V4. So after this step, that is after the calculation of V1, V2, V3 and V4, so this we have calculated only for story 1. Now we have to go for story 2, isn't it? So for story 2, we must apply same V1, V2, but please observe here carefully, that is I am applying V1 dash here. On ground floor or on the first story, I have applied V1, whereas on the second story, I am applying V1 dash now. And the direction should be same as V1, that is in downward direction. Alright. Next, in case of V2 will also go in downward direction, but I'll name it as V2 dash. Now for V3, we'll name it as V3 dash. The direction should be same. Then here also V4 will go in upward direction and we'll name it as V4 dash. Okay. Now depending upon this one, V1 dash, V2 dash, V3 dash, we have to calculate again these V1 dash, V2 dash, V3 dash values. Okay. So the process of solving or calculating V1 dash, V2 dash, V3 dash and V4 dash is similar to the calculation of V1, V2, V3 and V4, which we have calculated for story 1. Okay. So now let us take that. The same figure I am drawing here. Okay. So this was V1, V2, V3 and V4, and here the direction of the force will be same, but it should be V1 dash, this should be V2 dash. Let us remove this one since we have calculated already. So this will be V2 dash, then this will be, this force will go in upward direction, right? That is V3. V3 will go in upward direction, V3 dash, and again same V4 will also go in upward direction, but V4 dash. So I'll name it here, and we know that V1 dash is equal to V dash, right, which is going in downward direction. I'm taking the same values and the same steps which we followed for first story. Okay, then what happens? V2 dash we have calculated already, that is 0.176 V dash, which is going again in downward direction. Similarly, V3 dash is equal to 0.294 V dash, which is going in upward direction. Similarly, V4 dash is equal to 0.882 V dash, and this is also going in upward direction. Now what we'll do, we'll take down, in the previous case we have taken moment at this location, now we'll take down moment at this location, that is we'll name this point as Z. Okay, so Since why we are calculating at this point, because we know that point of contraflexure will be at the center of the member, right? And at point of what is the meaning of point of contraflexure? That means we'll be having a bending moment at that particular point will become 0. So let us take down moment at z is equal to 0. So if you calculate moment at this location, what happens? 120 force into perpendicular distance, that is 120 into 1.75. So total length is 3.5. Half of 3.5 will be 1.75 plus v1 dash into 0. Since the force is passing through point z, so that moment will become 0, plus v2 dash into 7 minus v3 dash into 11. Why minus? Because it is going in anti-clockwise direction. If you keep your thumb on point z and see the force v3 dash, it is going in anti-clockwise direction. Similarly, minus v4 dash into 16 equal to 0. So if you substitute the values of v1, v1 dash, v2 dash, v3 dash according to these values, what you will get here is v1 dash is equal to 13.03 kilonewton. v1 dash is equal to 13.03 kilonewton. That is v dash. You will get it as 13.03, since we have all the values in terms of v dash, isn't it? So depending upon the value of v dash, which is equal to 13.03, we will calculate the value of v1, v2, v3 and v4. Okay, so simply we have to substitute the value of v dash here, v dash and v dash, so that we can get the value of v1 dash, v2 dash, v3 dash and v4 dash. Okay, so let us substitute those values. So we know v1 dash is equal to v dash, which is equal to 13.03 kilonewton, and it is going in downward direction. Similarly, v2 dash is equal to 0.176 v dash, which is equal to 2.30 kilonewton, and it is also going in downward direction. Similarly, v3 dash is equal to 0.294 v dash is equal to 3.83 kilonewton, and v3 dash is going in which direction? Upward direction. Now similarly, v4 dash is equal to 0.882 v dash equal to 11.49 kilonewton, and this force is also going in upward direction. Alright, so we have got the values of v1 dash, v2 dash, v3 dash and v4 dash. So in this one also, that is in the second story also, the thing which we have to follow is it should be v1 dash plus v2 dash should be equal to v3 dash plus v4 dash, which is very, very important. Okay, so the same thing we have followed in this first story. Now we have to follow the same thing in second story also, that is this should be equal. Now if this is equal, then that means that our calculation is going in a perfect manner. If there is a mistake, or if there is a variation of 2 to 3 kilonewtons or 10 to 20 kilonewtons, that means our calculation is, we have made some mistake in our calculations. Okay, now after this step we have to go for another step, that is shear at the end of beam. Okay, so this is which step? So this is the fourth step, in which we are calculating shear at, let us take down with another color, shear at the end of beam. So this is the fourth step. First step is calculation of centroids. Second step is calculation of shear force in first story, third is calculation of shear force in second story. So now this is the fourth step. Okay, so shear at the end of beams. Now let us take down the figure once again here. So this is the figure, right? Now the important thing which we have to consider here is, well, how many joints are there, we have to see. So A is one joint, this is B is another joint, C is another joint, then D, then E, F, G, H. Okay, so these are the main joints in the frame. Okay, so we have to consider each joint gradually. So the important thing which we have to remember here is the forces which are coming towards the joint. Okay, forces coming towards joint should be taken as positive, and the forces going away from joint should be taken as negative. So this is the important term in case of the fourth step, that is at the calculation of shear calculation at the beam. Okay, right. So again what we will do, we'll start our calculation from first story. Okay, so for story 1. Okay, so what I will write here, you see, this is what we are calculating. We are calculating shear force, isn't it? So shear force, this is the joint E we have. So shear force at E, F suffix E, is equal to, so now if you consider this joint E, see how many forces are coming towards joint E. See, we have one force which is V1 dash, and here we have V1, isn't it? So V1 is coming towards the joint, and if V1 dash is coming towards the joint, and V1 is going away from the joint, isn't it? So V1 dash minus V1 is equal to 13.03 minus 58.62 is equal to minus 48.59 kilonewton. Okay, understood this one? So we have taken joint E and we have considered these forces. Okay, these forces, this one and this one. Now let us move towards another joint, that is joint F now. Okay, joint F. So shear force at F, shear force, this is for shear force at F. Okay, equal to, so now see here, we have one force. We know that there is one force, that is V2 dash, and here also we have V2. So V2 dash is moving towards F, whereas V2 is moving away from F, right? So V2 dash minus V2, then the previous value. In shear force we used to take down previous values, right? So what is the previous value? Previous value is minus 48.59. So if you substitute the values, you will get minus 53.64 kilonewton. Alright, next we'll take down another joint, that is G, this joint. Here also we know V3 dash is going in upward direction, and also V3 is also going in upward direction. So what happens here? V3 minus V3 dash minus the previous value, that is minus 53.64 equal to, if you substitute the values of V3 and V3 dash, you will get the value as 40.59 40.23 kilonewton. Okay, 40.23 kilonewton. This is for joint G. This is for joint G now. Now, shear force at H. If you consider H here, V4 dash is going in upward direction, which is away from joint H, and V4 is going towards the joint F. So shear force at H is equal to V4 minus V4 dash minus plus 40 point, this is minus, right? This value is minus, so minus previous value, which is 40.23, equal to, you will get 0. If you get 0 here, that means your calculation is absolutely correct. Okay, so we know what is the value of this. If you solve this one, V4 minus V4 dash, will get the value as plus 40.23. Let us take these values. V4 dash is, we got it as 11.49. Now what is the value of V4? What is the value of V4? We got 51.72. So 51.72 plus 11.49. If you calculate, you will get it as minus 40 plus 40.23, which is equal to 0. Alright. Now we'll go for story 2. So now we'll go for second story. For story 2. So we will calculate for shear force for story 2. So how many joints we have there? You can see there we'll calculate for shear force at A. Shear force at A is equal to, you can see V1 dash is going away from joint, isn't it? So I'll take it as minus V1 dash equal to minus 13.03 kilonewton. Again, for shear force at B is equal to minus V2 dash, which is going in downward direction, and also the previous value also we have to consider, that is minus 13.03 equal to minus 15.33 kilonewton. Similarly, shear force at C is equal to V3 dash is going towards joint C, so we will take it as plus V3 dash, and what is the previous value? Minus 15.33. The value will be for C minus 11.49 kilonewton. Similarly, next we will go for the next joint, that is joint D, FD. Shear force at D is equal to V4 dash is going towards the joint D, that is V4 dash minus the previous value 11.49. If the previous value is positive, then take it positive. If the value is negative, take negative. Minus 11.49, which is equal to 0 kilonewton. If this value is 0, that means our calculation is absolutely correct. Okay, next we will go for the fifth step, that is the last step of this problem, that is step 5, which is moment at the end of beam. Moment at the end of beam. Okay, so this is the final step in which we will be calculating our moments at the end of beam now. Okay, so let us draw the figure once again here. So this is the figure we have. Okay, and we know that at the center we have point of contrafluxure. So let us take with another color. Okay, so for story 1, I'll take for story 1. Always in cantilever method, we have to go from the first story. For story 1, so if you see the story 1, we have this point, isn't it? Since it is not highlightable, let us take with another color. that is with this one, or else this one. So if you see here, this is the point we have, and moment in E to F, if you see moment EF is equal to, so force in EF, force E, right? So what is shear force? FE. FE into, so distance is 7 by 2. Shear force is FE into 7 by 2 equal to 159.635 kilonewton meter. Okay. Similarly, we'll go for another member, horizontal member, that is joint, that is a member FG. Moment in FG. Moment FG. So that means shear force at F into, what is the distance? 4 meters. 4 by 2. So it will be 4 by 2. So the value is 107.32 kilonewton meter. Similarly, we'll go for this joint, that is for member GH. Moment in member GH is equal to shear force in at joint G into 5 by 2. So this is 5 meters now, so 5 by 2 is equal to 100.57 kilonewton meter. Okay, this is for story 1 we have calculated. Now we'll go for story 2. So for story 2, that is for second floor. So for story 2, again we'll go at this point. If you see this point, at this point, moment in member AB. Moment in member AB will be equal to shear force in A, and span of AB is 7. So into 7 by 2. So what is the shear force in member AB? Substitute that value, multiply it with the value of 7 by 2. You'll get the value as 45.605 kilonewton meter. Okay. So this is moment in member AB. Similarly, we'll take down this point, that is moment in member. Let us take down this figure down. Right. Okay. So moment, which one moment we have calculated? Moment in AB we have calculated. Now moment in BC. Moment in BC is equal to FB, that is shear force in B. This is the term you have to take, FB into 4 by 2. Substitute the value, you will get the value as 30.66 kilonewton meter. Then moment in member CD, this location, equal to FC into 5 by 2. If you multiply and solve this one, you will get the value as 28.74 kilonewton meter. Okay, so these are the values with the of shear force, bending moments with the help of shear forces. Okay, so this is how we calculate shear forces, bending moments, and centroids and center of gravity of the loading of the entire beam and forces with the help of pure cantilever method of analysis. So this is one of the most important method and very much useful method, wherein we use this method for immediate calculation of moments, immediate calculation of shear forces, so that we can assign some predefined sizes of the members for the softwares. Okay, so these are the basic and initial steps before going for the final calculations of your moments and shear forces. Okay, so hope you all have understood this topic, which is one of the last topic of this particular unit. So we'll take down another topics related to structural analysis in the next class. Okay, thank you.